Hey everybody, welcome back to Thistle Hill Farmstead. Today we're going to be working on this little generator that a friend of mine has and couldn't get to run. It's a WEN 2000 inverter generator, and I went over to his house and looked at it initially, and a couple of things were wrong with it. For starters, he had put gas and oil in this unit, and it doesn't require gas and oil, gasoline only. So while I was at his house, we drained or poured the gas out, the gas and oil, put fresh gas in. I took the plug out, cleaned the plug, and we tried to start it with no luck. Now, what I did determine, we took the bowl also off the carburetor while we were at his house. It did have a lot of gunk in it. I didn't have all of my tools with me there, but I did have some carb cleaner, and I tried to spray that in there. It didn't really help, but we were able to get it to run with a squirt of starting fluid. So that tells me that the engine runs, everything's okay. It's probably just the carburetor is gunked up from him putting the mixture of gas and oil in it and then letting it sit. So I think all we need to do is pull the carburetor off of this unit, clean it, and hopefully that will fix it. So let's see what we can do. I've turned it around here on the bench just to show you what it's doing or what it's not doing. It won't run. So let's go ahead. It has an on switch on the gas cap. That's for breathability. It has 3 positions on the start. We have an off, a run, and a choke. So let's put it on choke. We have the econo mode off, and let's give it a pull and see what happens. So you can see it's wanting to run. It gives a little jump here and there, but again, I'm pretty sure the carburetor needs to be cleaned out. Hey, a little bit of juice there. So, but that's what it does. It kind of wants to run, but it won't run. So I'm pretty confident that from looking at the bowl in the carburetor at his house, it's pretty gunky. So let's do that. Let's take the carburetor off, clean it, and put it back together and see if that resolves our problem. So the first thing I want to do is get the side cover off. Everything is nicely contained within this whole plastic shroud here. It looks good, but however, that makes it difficult to work with or work on. This little panel here reveals our oil dipstick in check. I did check that. The oil does look good in it. I think he had read or misread in the owner's manual that gas and oil mix was required, and obviously that's not true. For any engine that has oil in the crankcase, you do not need a gas and oil mixture. That's typically used when you do not have an oiled crankcase, so that you the mixture of gas and oil lubricates the internals of the engine. Let's get these little bolts out here. I'm gonna get my pick. There we go. That one, I don't think I'm going to be able to get out. Maybe. Let's see. That's kind of deep in there. There we go. So that's just 3 screws. Let me get my little tray here. And let's see if this comes off. Okay, there we go. Feels like it has a clip of some sort behind there. And it does have these rubber grommets here. Looks like this one's pushed out a little bit. Let me see if I can correct that. But you've got one here, and then the cover has some little parts that push in there. And then it's got some little feet here at the bottom that go into these cutouts in the case here. So let me see if I can fix that little grommet that looks like it's been pushed through. There we go. That will make it work a little better. So, okay, the carburetor is over here. So I may have to move you over to the other side so that you can see that. Let me move these panels out of the way. Let me see if I can turn this around so that we can see. This is pretty heavy. There we go. Okay, so the carburetor is here. Looks like it has 2 screws here. I don't know if it's worth trying to split this case to get in there further, or if we even need to do that. I'll try to get it out without splitting the case. Looks like a lot more screws, and then we'll see how we go. Let me get you in here a little closer. So here's the carburetor. We have a bolt here, or a nut, and a nut here that holds that carburetor in. And then of course we have to take the linkage off the fuel line. Well, that's the like a crankcase return, but there's a fuel line, I'm sure, somewhere on here. And we got a little zip tie here that we need to cut to get that out. But yeah, let's do that. All right, let's see if we can get in here and get going. We'll start by pulling this little crankcase return off. And let's see what size those bolts are. Maybe it's an 8mm. Kind of looks like it. Or maybe a 10. Let's see, what do we have? Okay, that is a 10mm. So let me get a socket and see if I can get back there to that back one. Okay. Tight quarters in here. All right, so let's see. This should let this little breather pipe. This pipe here comes from the. This is the air cleaner. So let's see if we can get that off without damaging any gaskets or anything. Okay, so there we got that piece off. Now we are getting closer to the carburetor. Let's see if this, yeah, this should just slide off now. These studs here are not 100% in alignment. But let's see, let's just slide back. This is a drain line. Let me see if I can see where the fuel line is. Let's see here, buddy. How you come out? Let me clip this little zip tie here. Okay. All right. Yeah, boy, it would be nicer if that side case is off. Don't know if I want to go to the trouble of splitting this whole thing open, but we'll see if I can get it without that needing to be done. Okay, it's hitting on the, this bottom piece here is hitting on the breather box. So let's see about that. Okay, so let's take this little breather box off. Here's our foam breather pad, and yeah, there's one nut there that's holding that on, I believe. Let me take that off. Let me get you down where you can see it. Right in there. That's what I need to take off. That is an 8mm. Alright, that's the only thing that's holding that on. Let's see, is there another one hiding in there somewhere? I don't see it. I tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and split this case because this is very tight quarters in here. I think it'll just make my life easier if I do that. So let's go ahead and open this case up. So I think to get this case apart, a couple of screws there. Phillips head, let's take these out, and then I think we may have to take some out on the front here, but I think this will make our life much easier. Oh, that one comes in from the other side. How about that? Okay, one there, probably here, one in the front, and looks like we have a couple of bolts here at the bottom. Let's see if those are 10mm. Yes, they are. Making it easy for us. And I'm just guessing at this. I've never disassembled one of these before, but we're just going to use some common sense and see what, how many of these we have to take out. Don't want to really take out any more than necessary.
I like these here. They have a shoulder on them so that you can't over tighten them and break the case. Alright, let's see how we're doing here. Oh, we got a couple on the back here, I see. I don't know if that has to come all the way off for us to be able to get that side plate off, but let's go ahead and do it. It's just a couple of additional screws. Okay, let's see what we got here. Alright, there's a little bit of a breather back here in the back. There we go. Okay, so we had this baffle here in the back that I had to pull apart, but that's out now. Okay, let's see how close we are. This looks loose here. I may have to do the same thing in the front. Let me turn it around for you. Man, this booger's heavy. May have to do the same thing with this panel. So let's go ahead and take it off completely. In case there's anything that is holding both, goes through to the other side. Okay, anything there? Okay, now I'm not sure if these 4 screws, I think they would just hold that plate to this. I don't think they need to come out. But let me get my pick under here and see if I can pull. Yeah, it seems that maybe something's still holding it on this side. Let's see if that side plate will come off without taking this off. Let's see what we have now. The bottom is loose. The top up here still seems to be okay. There's a screw there. Alright, let's see what we got now. Any more hiding anywhere? Oh, there's one right there that I missed. You guys didn't see that one? You've probably been yelling at the screen. Hey, there's another screw. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. Still think we were going to have to do something to this end plate. I'm sure there's some fancy way it's
not quite
connected in there.
But we're not making any progress as we're going now. So it's worth a try. Maybe doing a lot of overkill, but that's what we do when we're learning. All right. Oh, look at that. Okay, so we have both sides free now, but that front part still does not want to come off. What's holding it? What is holding it? It's just got some kind of little clip right there. It's holding that in. There we go. Okay. Well, that side's off. Probably didn't need to take it off, but it's going to give us access to everything. Now let's see if we can get this. Yeah, so I see now. Let's see if I got you in the frame. This just had to be pushed back far enough where it would come over that little clip there. All right, let's turn it back around. Got my cord here in the way. Now let's see what we can get here. Okay. Well, this side still doesn't want to come off. And this is the side I need off. Did I miss something? Did I miss something down here? Ha! Look at that. Come on, guys. You didn't yell at me for that. There's another bolt here that I didn't see right there that probably was my issue all along. Man, could have avoided taking that whole other side off if you guys had yelled out. Hey, where'd that go? Got it. Oh, look at that. Like butter. Okay, well, there is no excuse not to be able to get to things now. That's for sure. Tank is just setting up there. That's interesting. I guess the case is what holds that tank in place. So now we can really see the internals of this bad boy. So now we can really see what's going on. Here's the carburetor. So I just need to take a couple things off there and get that off. Here's the front panel, the pull cord, some other electronics back there. The tank, again, is held, the case holds it in place. And the inverter there. Okay, so let's see if, yeah, I couldn't get that off because there's another bolt here that holds that on, so that's why I couldn't get that breather case off before. But let's pop that off and get the carburetor off. So the carburetor won't slide back because it's hitting on the air box here. So let's go ahead and take that other bolt out. What do I do with my socket? Here it is.
And again, it's a 10 millimeter. You almost just need a 10 millimeter to take this whole thing apart. Man, that's tight. Whoa. Why is that so tight? There we go. Oh, well, it's so tight because I didn't need to loosen it. It slides in here. So what I was doing was spreading that apart when I turned it. So hopefully I didn't mess that up. Wow, that was or that was supposed to, that just slide in there like that? I think that was supposed to loosen. I don't think that was supposed to do that. Let me get a pair of channel locks and we'll take this out. Yeah, I think that was supposed to loosen. I don't believe it was supposed to spin like that. Just really tight. So this little piece goes in here like that. And then it tightens up. But it was so tight when I loosened it, it just kind of twisted that thing and pulled it out. But we're all good. So that goes there. Now, let's see if the carburetor will slide off. Now, granted, I still have a lot of stuff connected here. Still have the fuel line connected. But I just want to make sure that we're good. Yeah, okay. Looks like the tank is going to have to lift up a little bit also to get that off. So let me do my trick that I tried on the mower, but then I wound up wiping off a lot of my stuff. I'm going to mark where this little cable is so I can put it back on in the same spot. Alright, so we want to loosen this little set screw here. And I think I'll do the same here. This, I'm going to take a little piece of tape and put where that thing is supposed to be. Just so I can get everything back in alignment. So I'm going right here. I'm going to put a little piece of painter's tape behind this nut so I can see, there you go, where it was. And then when I slide that back in, I know I can go to there and be in close proximity to where it was before. Let's see, I'm going to have to hold that with something, not those big bullies. Let's use my little babies here. Okay, get that loose. That should slide right out. It does. Got a nice crimp in the cable there, if you can see that. And then I just need to loosen this top piece here. That's going to be a trick. Maybe I'll just take this tank out. Let's see. It looks like it has a grommet here in the base. Come on out of there. Yep, there's one here and there's one on the other side. Let me pry those up and pop them out. Just trying to be careful not to, but this is plastic, but it's fairly new machine, so everything's not all dried out. There we go. So I can kind of move this to the side here. Let me see if I can find. If I take that off, it's going to tighten the cap up, make sure it's on the off position. I don't think it'll leak out. No leaks? Okay, great. And then let me pull you out. And then back here, I just need to take the fuel line off, take this little bad boy out, and we should be able to get the carburetor out. So, fuel line or throttle control first. And I'll do the same thing there. Let me stick a little piece of tape behind here where that was. Even though I marked the front, this will help me also to know where that thing goes. Okay. Whoa. All right, got it. That can go in my little bin there. Let me get the fuel line off. It is one of those little continuous tension spring clips. Slide that back. Okay. I think it needs to go back a little further. Okay. All right, so now we're on the back side. So I've just moved this little spring clip back. I'm gonna take my pick and just lightly go under here, loosen this connection. This thing is way up on there. They obviously didn't want it to come off. Let me see. There we go. I mean, it's got a good half an inch of hose. Just trying to use my pick to break that seal. Okay. Let me see if I can. I may just go ahead and slide the carburetor off and then pull that off, make it easier. Let's go ahead and take this, I believe this is the shut-off solenoid, I think. Not quite sure. Or maybe that's the eco deal. I'm not quite sure what this electronic thing is, so I'm not even going to guess. So somebody will call me out in the comments. Just need to see. Well, actually, I don't need to take that part off. That's taking the unit off itself. I just want to take it off the carburetor. So I just want to take this one off. Here. And here. And that. Let me get down in there and show you. Now this whole unit is stuck in here between. There's a little spring. Let me get these bolts out of the way before I lose them. Okay. This unit, it just kind of sits down on here. Is it just? There we go. Okay, so it's a little slot here that was in this little slot here. That's got a spring on it. I don't want to lose that. I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. This little spring had this clip that went underneath there, and then just kind of held that in place. All right, so now I think we are indeed ready for the carburetor to come off. I'm just going to take this little hose here off. Come on. Ooh, watch my finger. Don't poke my finger. There we go. Okay, so those are just some drain hoses. All right, Let's see what we got here. Taking care not to damage the gaskets. Okay, come on. There we go. Now, let me see if I can get this fuel line off. There we go. Now it's coming off. Just had to, again, break the seal. There. Yeah, look how long that neck is. Okay. A little bit of fuel there, but I can prop that up. Okay, so that was a little more involved than I thought it was going to be. Now the carburetor looks really clean, but I think the issue is going to be the internals of it. So let's take it apart and take a look. All right, let's take a look inside. Now, I mentioned before that I tried to, quite a bit of fuel in there still. Let me get something to catch that. Blah. As I mentioned before, while we were at his house, I did take the bowl off the carburetor. That was really about the only thing I could do there. And it was quite a mess. And you can still see there's some, maybe you can, maybe you can't, but there's still some goop in there. Oh yeah, okay, so I don't know if you can see the bottom of that or not. But see all that mess right there? So, yeah, I think the carburetor needs cleaning. And that should resolve our problem. I'm going to take this little gasket out here. Since it's already coming out, I don't want to damage it. And I was not able to disassemble, pull the float out or anything, and make sure that the jets were clean, or that the needle and everything and seat were good. Take that out. Yeah, everything looks nice there. I see some rust right here. Again, I don't know how this is going to show up. But that screw there is very rusty. Not sure why that is. So let's go ahead and pull that out. Yep, not gonna happen. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that covers, but I can tell it's kind of dirty on the interior internals. So I have this new fancy dancy ultrasonic cleaner that I did an unboxing on the other day. So I'm going to try that ultrasonic cleaner and see if that will help. These sometimes are difficult to get out. I don't want to mess it up. But I can see this is pretty gunked up too here. I really wish I could get that screw out there. Well, this is not coming out. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh yeah. All right, let me see. Look at this white background here. See if I can zoom in. Is it gonna focus? Focus. Let me go back out here. Okay. Can you see that? So this emulsion tube is just really gooped up, clogged up. So that's really why it's not running. Could probably just clean this out and call it done, and it'll probably run just fine. But I'm going to go ahead and pop this in the ultrasonic cleaner and just let it do its business for a while, and then we'll put it all back together. All right, so we got our items in our little cage here. I'm going to drop those in there. We have our carburetor. Get that in there. There we go. Boy, that's just enough to cover that carburetor. Here's our bowl. So, I think I can go a little higher. Let me put a little bit additional water in there. All right, I believe that's at our max line now. In hindsight, maybe I should have gotten the bigger cleaner. But let's see, set. Let's do the max 480. Little heat. And there we go. We'll let that run and come back later and see how it did. All right, it's finished baking. So let's see what we got. Let me get a paper towel. Put some of this stuff on. All right, woo, that's hot. Okay, we got our float. That looks nice. Owie, owie, owie. That cleaned up pretty well, the bowl. I'll rinse this stuff off with some clean water. Ooh, ow, 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 ow. That bad boy's hot. That looks pretty good. Looks like everything cleaned up pretty nicely in there. Even that rusty bolt looks clean. All right, and then we have our little cage with our goodies in it. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. Biggest thing I want to see is the emulsion tube. Oh, that looks fantastic. If you can see that, let me see if I can get it up in the camera. In the light, that looks like it cleaned up really nice. Okay, so let me rinse everything off, blow it off, and then we'll put everything back together. Okay, I've got it all rinsed now and blown out. Everything looks nice. let's get our little goodies out of here. So the main thing I want to look at is this emulsion tube here. That looks fantastic now. I have some little micro bits here that I like to use to just make sure everything is clear. Yep, that goes right through, no problem. Yep. Now, I'm not enlarging any of these. I'm just sliding this through just to make sure everything is clear. And it is. So let me pop this back into its case. There we go. Close it up. All right, so let's put it all back together. Put our emulsion tube back in there. Okay. Now we have our float here and our little spring. Just goes right on there. That just sits in there. Okay. We have our pin. All right. Looks good. Let's put our gasket back on. Just want to tuck that down into the little slot that's there. Make sure I don't twist it. I think I have it twisted there. There we go. All right, that's in there nicely. And then we can put this little bad boy back in there. Don't forget that. I think, boy, that's super tiny. I don't know. Let me take a look at that. Let's see if that needs to be cleared. Yeah, that's clear. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, this goes back on. I have to remember which way that goes. I think, I'm not quite sure which side that goes on now. This little tube needs to be faced toward the outside. I will wait to put that on until I slide the carburetor back on. This is just the drain. I'll put this on. Oops, I almost forgot my gasket. I had it laying here somewhere. There it is. And I will just leave this loose so I can turn it to whichever orientation it needs to be once I slide the carburetor back on. All right, let's start reassembling everything. All right, we got quite the mess here. Pieces and parts everywhere. This is going to be the test, if I can remember, how everything goes back together. So we got our gasket here. The first thing is this goes like this because the fuel line has to connect to it. All right, now let's continue with our assembly. Let's put our breather assembly back together. I'm going to put it together while I have it out. It's probably easier. Okay, so that goes like that. This goes in here. Just like that. Okay. Okay. Maybe this is it. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Going to reposition the camera here while we put the breather box back on. Okay, let's see. I got so many screws to choose from. I remember this one was a small one. Maybe this is it here. Okay, that looks right. So let's go ahead and tighten this one up a little bit. Okay. All right, so we got the breather back on. And here's what I was talking about, making sure we had this little thing pointed the right way for our, it goes here. I thought that looked a little odd. Okay, that looks better. Not quite sure why there are two here. But they are. Here's my little hose I was looking for that bottom one. This goes on here. That looks much better. Okay, and this goes down also to the bottom, just like that. All right, let's get our 2 carburetor screws on. It's much easier with the cover off. It was a little bit of a hassle to take that cover off, but this is much easier working with the cover off. Okay, this goes back on here. Got our fuel line, our throttle. We have our drain hoses. Yeah, okay, I think we've got everything back in like we need. I think what I'll do before I need to tighten this bowl up on the bottom. Almost forgot that. I think what I'll do before I put all the case and everything back on is I will start it and make sure it runs, because it would be a shame to put it all back together and then have it not run. So let me put the tank back up here, put it in place. Okay, so it should be able to run. I'm going to put the control panel back together because that holds the on-off, fuel on-off switch. So let's do that. Let's pop our air cleaner filter back in. Put our cover on. Okay, got it. Oh, this looks good. Let's turn on our fuel here. I'm just checking the mechanism here to make sure. On, choke, yep. I can hear the fuel running down into the carburetor. I'm going to turn it on up top here on our gas tank, the vent. I don't see any leaks from the carburetor, so let's give it some pulls and see if she starts. Okay, let's see if she'll start. I have a light here that we can see if it's generating. You may hear a fan running. I put a fan at the door here because I'm in a small room and I don't want to be in here. This running very long, but we'll crank it and see if it goes. So we have it to on. have that open. Let's see what happens. Okay, it seemed to be surging just a little bit, but I'll work with that outside. All right, I've got the generator outside now. I reached out to another YouTuber, James Condon. He has a channel where he does a lot of generator fixes and rehabs, and he was very helpful in showing me where the low-speed idle jet was on this particular carburetor. It's hidden up under the servo unit here, so I didn't see it. And I took that out and I cleaned it, and I think that has resolved the surging problem. So let's start it up and see how it runs. I've got a light plugged in here, and I've got a little voltmeter connected. So let's see. I have the tank open. Let's put it on run. So you can see there, it's not really surging anymore like it was. And let's see, 123 volts, 60 hertz. So I think that has it fixed. I'm gonna put the covers back on it, button it up, and I'll try it again. And I'll point out where that little low-speed idle jet was that I worked on. So big thanks out to James. I'll put a link to his channel in the description below. And check his channel out. It's really good if you're working on small engines and generators. So let me show you where that low-speed idle jet was hiding. If you look at the back of the carburetor here, see this little screw? It covers or holds down a plate, and right under that plate is that low-speed idle jet. And like I said, James Condon from his channel showed me where that was. I just had to take off this servo here to get to that, and I cleaned that out, and that seems to have solved the surging problem. So let's go ahead and reassemble this thing. I'm huffing a little bit because I just carried this thing back in, and it's pretty heavy. And as I mentioned before, I'll put a link to Jim's, I don't know if he goes by Jim or James, but put a link to his channel in this description. Excellent channel. I would not even have attempted this or any of some of my other little projects without being able to watch his channel and learn from him. So it's an excellent channel. Check it out. Okay, so let's start the reassembly process. It's just putting all the plastics back on, and then we'll test it again. Just want to show you on the end how these little tabs need to go into these little places on the case. It's got to go on top of this seam just like that. Now let's see if I can kind of got to do both at the same time. I just took the screwdriver and put behind there. Alright, let's see. Okay, got that one in. Let's see if we can get this other one in now. There we go. Okay, so both of those are in. And we can go ahead and start putting the rest of the screws in. Let me show you one other thing. There is some little tabs here on the side of the tank right here, and there's also a mating hole in the cover on each side right there and here. This one's a little bit harder to see without the light, but you got to make sure those get in there too to be able to put these side covers all the way back on. Well, there she is, all reassembled. The hardest part was getting this little rubber grommet back down in between the cases, and maybe I should have, I don't know if it's still totally in there. Maybe I should have put that in before I slid the cases together. Would have helped that thing get down in there. It was a little bit of a bear to get that thing back down in there, but I think it's good. Just it's meant to keep the fuel, if you spill any, from running down into the case. But I think it's in there good. Just push it a little bit more. Yeah. All right, let's take it back outside and fire it up again, and just make sure everything still works. Okay, let's see what we get. Everything's back together. Got the fuel breather opened. Turn it on. I don't know that we'll need any choke since we started it before, but let's try it. There we go. We got lights. Running nicely. Let's see. Where's that? There we go. 123. Don't really have a load to put on it to test it under load, but I think it's going to be all right. Well, that's it for this video. I appreciate everyone hanging in there. It's kind of a long video, but I learned a lot with this. And again, big things out to James Condon and his channel for the help on this. Join us again here on Thistle Hill Farmstead. Take care.